So before I expose myself for some of my wrong opinions, I have to point out that I totally forgot about the Thunder when I was doing my super early West 2021 video. So my bad. They'll definitely be in the race, and we'll have to see what happens with, their roster and Chris Paul and Gallo and stuff. But to not mention them at all is just a flat-out mistake on my part. So that's on me. Anyway, if we talk about just players that I've been wrong about over the years, some in the positive and negative, for whatever that means. Some guys ended up being better or worse than I thought they'd be. The first one, Zach LaVine. I never thought Zach LaVine could be an efficient 20-plus point scorer. I just figured his shot selection was never going to be good enough, and he would never really know how to read defenses, and I suppose there are still questions about how good LaVine makes you and stuff, but he's already proven me wrong. When the Bulls gave him whatever the contract was at first, I probably wasn't very supportive of it. And while we can argue about how good LaVine actually is and all that, I've kind of steered clear of that a little bit because I think he's kind of good. I mean, this year, 25 points on 57% true shooting. It's pretty damn good, And yeah, does he occasionally take a shot you wouldn't love, or do you wish he was a little better of a playmaker and a defender? Yeah, that's fair, but still, I was wrong about the guy. I figured he was never going to be really that good, and he's proven to be at least that good, whatever that good means. Next one, Dragan Bender. I made a video at some point saying you should not give up on Dragan Bender. It might be time to give up on Dragan Bender. He's been in the league for a bit, bounced around a little bit. He can do one thing well, which is shoot threes. Besides that, it's pretty rough. And even then, it's not like he's been amazing from three in all of his stops and years around the league. With Bender, it's part of it, I think, is that he's just so damn thin that he just gets bodied out of there. Like, he's listed at 7 feet, 225. I guess I could kind of see that. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's just like a shooting guard in a center's body, and sometimes that can be in your favor, and other times it means you kind of suck, and I think that's the case with Bender. Now, could he have a future? I mean, potentially, because there is still the potential of like a shooter / switchy defender in there, but I don't know, man. I mean, he's even been listed at small forward for the Warriors and the Bucks when he's played for them for, very few games, but maybe teams are just going to have to accept that he's not a center or a power forward, Maybe some power forward, and you'd like to think in today's NBA with the way we value spacing, he could play center, but you can't play center if you're going to get bodied on the other side of the floor, even if center is not the main thing anymore. Next, Dennis Smith. I've done various videos of Dennis Smith, but the one that I initially did when he was drafted by the Mavericks was very positive. I said the floor is going to be spaced out, and Dennis Smith's going to be able to attack the basket, and it just never really happened there. And then they rightfully chose Luka over him and the rest of that roster. And then Dennis Smith was potentially the worst player in the league for the Knicks this season, and I don't know what to do with Dennis Smith now. There's a chance that he could still bounce around the league a little bit, but he was really bad this year. I mean, just to the point now where it's like, I don't even know if he's got the confidence, because that did seem to be like a thing for him, right? That he was sure of himself and he could break down defenders, and I don't know if that's there anymore for him. I mean, I would say the one thing he can do at an NBA level is get inside off of a screen, but even then, I don't think that's combined with being a very smart basketball player. So it's like, okay, you can get in there, but what do you do once the help defense comes? He just doesn't know what to do at that point, So yeah. So those were two guys who ended up being worse than I thought in a row. Actually, the rest of them are all like that. Okay, well then I'll mention D'Angelo Russell. Perhaps the most infamous video on my channel, besides the top 10 video that might have 1 million views at this point for some reason. is when I was like, D'Angelo Russell doesn't deserve to be whatever it was in the 2K. And, you know, in that video, I didn't specifically say that I thought D'Angelo Russell couldn't get better. I just didn't think he deserved whatever 2K was giving him for a rating at that time. But it's not like I was singing D'Angelo Russell's praises all the time either, you know what I mean? Like, if I really believed in him, then I would have had the mindset of he's going to grow into that rating, even if I don't think he's, you know, deserved it at that moment. So, we can mention D'Lo. If we mention a few more, I might do a video on Nerlens Noel. In fact, I probably will because, you know, what else am I going to talk about? Nerlens, like, he's not horrible for OKC, but I thought Nerlens could be one of the best defenders in the league. You know, a guy whose verticality could allow him to be a great rim protector, and then his overall athleticism, he could switch onto a few positions, and you hoped that he was going to get stronger, and that's pretty much never happened. I mean, the guy is not a great rebounder. I mean, their rebounding percentage drops by nearly 5 points when Nerlens plays. And granted, he's subbing in for Steven Adams, who may be the best rebounder in the league. Not in terms of box score numbers, but in terms of his team getting the rebound, which is the most important thing. But even so, that's a pretty harsh drop-off. And Nerlens is going up against, you know, second units most of the time, and that's not good, you know? Like, rebounding it's not the most important thing as a big, but it becomes an issue if you're bad at it, and I think Nerlens sometimes does tread the line there. The exact opposite would be like Aaron Baines, you know? Like, Baines and Noel may grab about the same amount of rebounds per game, but Aaron Baines boxes out like the entire team every possession, whereas Nerlens doesn't, and that stuff matters, so that on top of defensively, he's never totally taken off. I mean, I would still be intrigued by him playing 20-something minutes, and I would hope that he had matured from the Dallas situation. I mean, they took him on hoping that he could be that great player, and, you know, defensively, he just wasn't disciplined, you know? Like, the game plan would be to drop on the pick and roll. He would step up because he wants to prove how good of a defender he is. He's like, no, just listen to the game plan, dude, alright? What was the thing Rick Carlisle said? He's like, the defensive system is built to where if you make a mistake, we can help you, but you have to play within the system. You know, if you do something that I don't tell you to do, well, now we're screwed because there's going to be an open shooter somewhere, you know what I mean? So, maybe Nerlens can be a little more disciplined, and I would like to think that Nerlens can be, like, you know, Daniel Tice this year for the Celtics, right? He's been good. Has he been that noticeable if you're not watching Boston? Not really, although he had some bigger point performances lately, but you just show up and do your job. Play 24 minutes a game, box out, set screens, roll to the rim, and play hard on defense. And I think just with those things alone, I still think Nerlens can be great because his defensive ceiling is way higher than Daniel Tice's, you know? So, maybe Nerlens can get there, maybe he can't. I have two more. One of these is an insane deep cut from back when I was doing YouTube early on, and to be fair, I really would not trust any opinion that I had the first couple of years with YouTube, because at that time I wasn't able to talk about anything for longer than like 2 or 3 minutes because I just didn't know enough about the league. And that is where one of these opinions popped up. At some point I said that Jerian Grant was going to win Rookie of the Year because I honestly just looked at his stat line in college and I was like, well, he played 4 years and something else. I don't know. Don't ask me on that one. Again, don't trust any opinion I had from that long ago. That was, what, 2016? Like, I don't... If I watch any of those videos back, I'm just going to be like, what the hell was I talking about? But I did say that, so we'll say it. And then the last one, funny enough, this one happened like 2 years ago, so now I'm just looking like a fool all around. I said that Cedi Osman could be one of the best passing wings in the league because he had like a 5-game stretch to open up a season where he averaged like 5 assists a game. That has since not gone much of anywhere, his passing. I mean, Cedi's not a bad player. He's just, you know, he's just kind of okay. He averages 11 a game, you know. He'll make an open three for you. He could end up being something later on, but for right now, he's just kind of okay. So that's what I got. Players that I was wrong on. I'm sure there's others. I've made so many damn videos, I'm bound to forget some of the things that I've said. And I'm sure I will be wrong on various other players as we keep doing this whole YouTube thing.